Space is limitless, and despite all the discoveries made by scientists over the past decades, more phenomena keep popping up, with each more intriguing than the last. Some of these discoveries include exoplanets and dwarf planets we didn't even know existed, while others are just bizarre UFO-like objects. In the search for more exoplanets, scientists with the aid of the Hubble Space Telescope have discovered an actual planet that has since been recognized as the 10th planet in our solar system. Further studies on the planet confirmed it to not only be the 10th planet, but also larger than Pluto. How did this 10th planet come to be? Could there be life somewhere within it? Join us as we explore how the Hubble Space Telescope confirms the 10th planet discovery and reveals it's larger than Pluto. Exploring the final frontier of the possibility of new phenomena has been fruitful over the years, with some leading to the discovery of planets surrounding our solar system. However, some of these discovered planets were later deemed dwarf planets, one of which is Pluto. Ever since Pluto became catalogued as a dwarf planet, scientists had only 8 planets recognized as of 2005. Since then, they continued their exploration in space, making new inventions and using them to make remarkable discoveries. This led to the detection of Eris. Eris was discovered in 2005 during a Palomar Observatory survey of the outer solar system. The survey was conducted by astronomers Mike Brown from Caltech, Chad Trujillo from the Gemini Observatory, and David Rabinowitz from Yale University. Spotted at the solar system's edge, Eris is a trans-Neptunian object and a member of a high-eccentricity population known as the scattered disk. It orbits our Sun at a distance of 96.4 astronomical units, making it the farthest object except for some comets. It was discovered by the data obtained from the Palomar Observatory survey in 2003, but wasn't noticed immediately. Upon discovery, it was nicknamed Xena until its name was changed after the Greek goddess of discord and strife, Eris. This name holds meaning as it caused several scientific disagreements and controversies. Astronomer Mike Brown explained the circumstances behind the planet's name, saying, "Eris is a goddess that stirs up jealousy and envy to create fighting and anger among men. One such example was at the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, where all the gods were invited with the exception of Eris. When she learned about her exclusion from the gathering, she spitefully caused a quarrel among the goddesses that led to the Trojan War." This name fits, as the discovery of Eris was one major factor that led to the demotion of Pluto from being part of the 9 planets in our solar system and cataloguing it as a dwarf planet. According to Govert Schilling, a Dutch astronomer and science writer, he said Brown initially planned on calling the dwarf planet Lila. He chose Lila after a concept in Hindu mythology that described the cosmos as the outcome of a game played by Brahma. Also, it was very similar to Brown's newborn daughter's name at the time, Lila. Brown also had options for other names, such as Persephone, the wife of the god Pluto. Eventually, it could not work as an asteroid had already been named 399 Persephone, so that ruled that name out. With no other options, the discovery team sent in Eris on September 6, 2006, and the IAU approved it as the planet's official name on September 13th. This name was peculiar to Brown for 3 reasons. 1, Eris had been regarded as a planet for so long, which assured him and his team that it deserved a name from Roman or Greek mythology like the others. 2nd, Eris was Brown's favorite goddess. 3rd, the name has not been used in the Greco-Roman pantheon that had been assigned to asteroids in the solar system, so it sounded like a perfect fit. Although finding out details about Eris was a bit difficult as it was so far from the Sun, determined scientists found a way by using a celestial alignment known as occultation. Bruno Siccardi, a scientist from the Paris Observatory, and his team began by calculating the diameter of Eris in 2010. The occultation happened as a result of Eris moving past a background star, therefore blocking the star's light and casting a small shadow on Earth. When the team analyzed the shadow size in Chile at 2 separate sites, both calculations gave a diameter of 2,326 kilometers for Eris. Before the 2010 Eris study, Siccardi conducted research on Pluto in 2009, and the outcome placed its diameter at least 2,338 kilometers. When Eris was initially discovered, the first estimates about the dwarf planet's size placed its diameter at 3,000 kilometers, but that wasn't the only outcome scientists relied on. In 2006, the Hubble Space Telescope joined with the Keck Observatory telescopes in Hawaii to measure the dwarf planet again. Its observation showed that Eris is slightly larger than Pluto, with a diameter of 2,400 kilometers. Achieving this measurement was quite difficult because for most telescopes the planet is very small and could only be identified as a dot of light. To get the measurements, the scientists working on the study waited until Eris was close to a star, then took 28 pictures of the planet. These photos were analyzed thoroughly by comparing the star and the planet, and eventually the Hubble Space Telescope came up with the answer. While learning about the dwarf planet, scientists made findings to see what was on the planet's surface. To do this, they studied the composition of far-off objects by looking at the sunlight reflected off them. For example, when the sunlight reflected off the Earth's surface is studied, it shows evident signatures of the oxygen in Earth's atmosphere, abundant water, photosynthetic plants, and other distinct features. Scientists used the Gemini Observatory on Mauna Kea, Hawaii, to study the light reflected from Eris's surface, and they saw that the planet looked very similar to Pluto. Eris's surface was very reflective, bouncing back 96% of the light that hit it. This makes the dwarf planet one of the most reflective bodies in the solar system, roughly similar to Saturn's moon Enceladus. Speaking of moons, a moon was spotted in orbit around Eris on September 10, 2005. It was discovered by a group of scientists with the Keck telescopes in Hawaii while observing the 4 trans-Neptunian objects: Pluto, Makemake, Haumea, and of course Eris. When the moon was discovered, it still had the nickname Xena, named after a warrior princess in a TV show. Scientists and astronomers believe that Eris's surface is likely to comprise a piece of nitrogen-rich ice mixed with frozen methane in a layer less than 1 millimeter thick. This layer could result from the dwarf planet's atmosphere condensing as frost on the planet's surface occasionally as it moves away from the sun. The new observations also allow researchers to make new calculations for the dwarf planet's surface temperature. Their study showed that the part of Eris which faces the sun is likely to get no warmer than minus 396 degrees Fahrenheit, while temperatures on the night side would be even lower. Although Eris has similar features to Pluto, they are not completely identical. Apart from their larger size, there are more ways in which these two planets have differences. For example, their surfaces. While Eris's surface appears almost white, Pluto's surface depicts a moderate red. Also, Pluto has a mottled-looking surface that reflects 60% of the sunlight that hits it on average. On the other hand, Eris has a different look and reflects differently. It appears uniform and reflects about 86% of the light that hits it. A fun fact about the characteristics of these planets is that they are not similar. As a matter of fact, Eris reflects the most sunlight from its surface compared to any planet or object in the solar system other than Saturn's moon Enceladus. This is because Enceladus has active geysers which coat its surface continuously with fresh frost. Considering all these, scientists could not think of any source of heat for Eris that could bring about small geysers. So how is it able to reflect so much light? After continuous research, they propose that Eris's bright surface and the uniform coloring of the planet are most likely the cause. As of this moment, the dwarf planet is as far away from the sun as it ever gets, making it extremely cold. With this distance from the sun, the planet's atmosphere is frozen solid. If Earth happens to move that far away from the sun, our planet's atmosphere will freeze up too. Scientists also propose that in 280 years, the planet would be at its closest, which would be a factor of almost 2.6 times closer. Also, the overall temperature on the planet would increase in the next 280 years by a factor of 1.6. In summary, the hypothesis by scientists says that Eris is bright and uniform due to its previous atmosphere, which had been frozen to the ground about 280 years ago. Scientists say this gives a bright, glistening coating to any previous form of mottled surface. Also, this freezing process is said to happen repeatedly with the planet's orbital period, which happens over 580 years. It is a reason why the whole atmosphere is probably only a few inches thick. Eris's far-off distance, along with its small size, is why it is difficult to observe the planet effectively without advanced technology. Presently, there are no plans of sending any spacecraft to fly by Eris soon, but powerful telescopes like the James Webb Telescope will be used for the task. As a matter of fact, the James Webb Telescope website picks Eris as one of its objectives and would also observe smaller objects in the solar system to see what their landscapes are made of. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.